I know this is a Zoom meeting, which is an online video platform, but it's also been recorded verbally as well. So the members of the public, if you don't wish to be seen or heard, please take your identification off the screen. But otherwise, if you've got to ask a question, then that's okay if you can make yourself known to us. So thank you. I come to everyone.
I'm just, Councillor Elvin, Councillor Dodds, can I just, and Councillor Turner, can I just ask you to identify yourselves as councillors on your identification, please? Use the three buttons, three full stops in the top right hand corner of your screen.
Yeah, and rename.
Please. Just so members of the public know who we are.
Oh, that's not right. Can't find it.
Top right hand corner, Councillor Turner, three dots next to it says mute.
Yeah.
Clarky doesn't have that on mine because I'm on an iPad.
Right, okay.
If you're on an iPad, you can still do it on an iPad.
It's not allowing me, Councillor Waterston.
If you just go into participants and then click onto your name, and it'll come up to rename.
Yep, got it, thanks.
Can't find mine. Gotta review.
Thanks, Susan.
Oh, I've gone off now altogether.
No, you haven't gone off. You're still with us, Councillor Turner. Yes, you're still with us.
I don't know where.
Can you find participants, Councillor Turner?
No.
Are you on an iPad or a computer?
I've got a laptop.
Should be on the top right hand corner, three dots.
Right. No, I didn't have three dots. And that's why I've gone in there. I've got everything off now. I can't see myself or anyone.
Rejoin.
I'll have to come back in.
Councillor Turner, I've got some technical assistance in the background here. And
I don't normally have any problem with this.
No, just look at your screen where your picture is, rather than looking at the big picture with everybody on it.
I haven't got it. I've got it. I haven't even got any. I've only got your cell phone. I've got nothing.
Right, but I'll tell you what it is. I think we're gonna have to move on.
Right.
We've mentioned your name so many times now. We know you're Councillor Turner. Right, in fact, I'm going to rename you.
I just have to leave it as it is.
Sorry, I'm going to rename you. This is very clever. Wait a minute.
Nothing here.
And as if by magic, you're now Councillor Turner. Right. It's all part of the consultancy fee bill coming your way.
Right.
Right. Oh dear. Right. That's great. I think we're in business. For members of the public, just to refresh, Councillor Pearson is the town mayor who will be acting as chairman of the meeting, and she has a mayoral insignia on. And just to bring a bit of levity before we start, the eagle-eyed amongst you will have seen that I've had a haircut last week, and the barber said, "You're going bald, Mr. Keady," and I said, "Well, you better hurry up." So there you go. I'm here all week. Don't worry about it. Right. Oh dear. Okay. Item one, if we're ready to roll, is apologies for absence. I have apologies from Councillor Jack Cunningham, who has some personal responsibilities this evening, and from Councillor Melanie Thornton, who has a work commitment.
I propose they're accepted, Madam Mayor.
I've also got one for Councillor Blackburn, who's on holiday.
Does Council wish to receive and approve those apologies?
Yes, the apology.
Yes. Yes. Can I just say at this point that apologies, are they not supposed to be put in personally, not on behalf by a third party?
if I can just comment on that, at this stage in the town council's governance arrangement, they can come either way. It's not prescriptive.
Right, I wasn't being awkward there. It was just something that was raised at the NALG training session.
Okay, so do I take it those apologies for absence
I
are approved?
propose they're approved. The
Yeah.
apologies received are accepted.
I second that.
Right, I'm just looking around the screen. Is there a consensus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Accepted.
Okay, smashing, thank you very much. Item 2, declarations of interest. I haven't received any.
Town Clerk, I've just got one. It's item 5 because I'm on here as a Hetton Town Council, not as a Sunderland City Councillor. And I can't understand why this is actually on the agenda, because obviously all Hetton Town councillors, we all know what their roles are, or we should, which is to represent the residents. And if they've got any problems or anything to raise, we raise them with the bodies, the necessary bodies. So I can't understand why that's actually on the agenda.
If I can just comment before we go into any discussion. Obviously, I've noted your declaration of interest there, and I think we'll have a member, we'll speak at item 5, who will give you the background information to that.
Thank you.
And then obviously it's so that the town mayor's ruling subject to discussion.
Right, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, can I come in? I've been trying to come in on the last item. Can you hear me, Graham?
Yeah, I'm here.
Just
There's 2 councillors missing, as far as I'm aware, and no apologies. That would be Mrs. Livershire.
Point of order, Madam Mayor. Then any apologies not received will be recorded as unapproved.
Unapproved, yeah.
Agreed.
Agreed. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Clark.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, to go on item 4A.
3. No,
Sorry.
item 3.
3, public participation. Sorry about that. I'm ahead of myself again.
Yeah.
Public participation. At the last meeting, I think we agreed a period of up to 30 minutes. That would be the normal period if we had a physical meeting. It's up to council to determine how long they would like to set aside this evening.
30
Same
minutes
amount.
acceptable still? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, propose, Madam Mayor, we continue with that arrangement.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any members of the public wishes to speak?
Yes, I'd like to ask you a question. I'm Dorothy Ferguson. Is that okay?
Yes, good evening,
Fine.
Dorothy.
Good evening. Right, at the last meeting, CCTV was actually discussed. May I ask, has any further developments happened?
Madam Mayor, if I can come in on that, as Chairman of the Management and Policy Committee, it's on the agenda for our next meeting, which will be held shortly, and we hope to be able to, hopefully the Management Policy Committee will then be able to report in full the various proposals that we hope to have in the pipeline with respect to CCTV. It would be premature of me now to prejudge that meeting. So,
Okay.
Dorothy, hopefully we'll have a full report for you at the next full council meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
The other members wish to speak?
Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, can I ask a question? Has anything came back from the letter that was sent to Gen 2 regarding Cragdale's Gardens proposal?
Yes.
Who's speaking?
It's me, I'm Lindsay at the top, LG.
Right. Okay.
The camera's not working on our iPad.
Right. Councillor Pearson, if I can just come in there. Yes, we did get a response to the letter we sent to Gen 2 when I circulated that to members a bit ago. I don't have that in front of me, I'm afraid, but we did get a response. I'm happy to, with members' permission, circulate that to the member of the public.
Yeah, that's fine.
Councillor Elvin?
Madam Mayor, if I may say to Tracy, A copy of that letter was published on my personal Facebook page. I don't know whether you follow me, but if you, rather than wait for the town clerk to send it to you, if you scroll through, you can see the response.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Robert Thorpe. I'd like to speak.
Yeah, go ahead.
My name's Rose Smith. I've wrote with some of the councillors about my concerns about Cragdale Gardens and the Gen 2 development. I've wrote to Gen 2. The reply I'm getting is very sort of hazy, not answered fully. But the councillors I've wrote to have asked for the GDPR consent, but I've had no response from them. No any comments about Cragdale Gardens, whether you're going to support us around this issue, because we really do need some help from our local councillors on this. And I was just wondering if Hetton Town Council is going to support us.
Yeah, the answer to that's yes.
Yeah,
Councillor Hopper and then Councillor Watson. Councillor Hopper first.
Hello. When we first heard about the Cragdale Gardens development, I think I came down on the Sunday and I spoke to Lindsay and a few of the residents down there. And the next meeting that we had, we sent a letter to, I believe, was it Town Clerk, was it Sunderland Council and Gen 2? Or was it just Gen 2 saying that we opposed the development?
It was Gen 2, and I assume that's the correspondence that the member of the public earlier was referring to as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so on Gen 2, we've got a response.
I'll get the letter and I'll post it on the Cragdale Gardens Facebook page, and then that way we can see what the response is.
Yeah,
that's okay.
I just want to know whether all of the councillors are of the same opinion and is going to support us, or are they just going to sit there and say nothing?
I support it. I support it.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Hope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Watson and then Councillor Geddes.
Yeah, a reply to the lady, the member of the public. I was, I think, first on the scene, to be quite honest, because I was contacted by Lindsay Gibson and told her immediately that she had my support. However, I did say that she should contact Councillor Hopper because he is the ward councillor. But Lindsay has, I think, been very active in the Cragdale Gardens issue. And I think that the lady, I'm sorry, I missed the lady's name, but if she gets together with Lindsay, you know, she'll be kept up to date with what's going on. Councillor Hopper's been very active on behalf of Cragdale Gardens. So I think I'm speaking for the majority of people in the meeting that we do support the members of the public. So without a doubt.
Yeah, I have had a response from Councillor Hopper, but I haven't had a response other than asking for consent from Councillor Turner and Councillor Blackburn.
Can I answer that, please? I've replied to all the residents that's written to me, and we said we would support the residents. And also, obviously, if it does go to the planning, Sunderland City Council, before it does, will consult with all the residents then. But it hasn't gone to the planning people yet.
Can I come in?
Councillor Geddes, yeah.
Following on from a phone call from a resident that is like, I actually spoke to somebody from Gen 2, and believe it or not, they didn't know Hetton Town Council existed. How about that one, eh? Isn't that fine? But anyway, moving on from that, I think there's nothing better than having Gen 2 come out and having a public meeting so all the residents can verbally ask the questions and get the answers. Because personally, I mean, it's great having a letter and it's great having an email, but there's nothing better to get people around the table and getting everything out in the open. So that's what I've asked Gen 2 for as well.
Councillor Rome?
Good
Councillor
evening.
Rome, sorry.
Yeah, good evening. This Cragdale Gardens proposal hasn't gone through to the application stage yet. I'm very concerned that Gen 2 are forging ahead with this. They're doing archaeological digs and all sorts of things. Now, they must have plenty of money because most developers don't even get to that stage until they've been granted outline planning permission. I tried to bring this up at the Coalfield Area Committee last month, but I was told I couldn't talk about it. And I do have a report which I was going to speak of later. I wanted to bring it up at the Coalfield Area Committee meeting, which was held last Wednesday, because Gen 2 was supposed to be giving a report, and there was absolutely nothing in this report about further development. I mean, the whole town council, I think, is against all this extra development in Hetton, but we can't actually do anything legally as a council until it comes through as an application. We've had lots of luck in the last we've done lots of good work to get 2 proposals either withdrawn or turned down. And I'd like to assure you that members of the planning committee, I'm sure, will explore every avenue to use the correct criteria to get this turned down. But in the meantime, I think there's a public meeting planned. I think Mr. Hopper might want to talk more about that. Have you got a meeting or a Zoom meeting soon, Councillor Hopper?
Lindsay Gibson's waiting to come in and fill us in with the meeting. Lindsay?
Yeah, can I speak? Yeah. Basically, what's happened is I've been in touch with numerous people in Gen 2. There was actually a Zoom meeting arranged for tomorrow with Gen 2, with ourselves, and we asked them to come out and speak. Gen 2 have now backed out of that. They've told me that the police wasn't available, which isn't true, because they want the police in presence and they wanted the council in presence. Basically, we wanted to meet on the field, which they've declined. They said they wanted, so the other option obviously was a Zoom meeting. So that was supposed to be happening tomorrow at 1 o'clock, because we've been trying to be proactive. And Gen 2 just keep putting hurdles up and hurdles up. And somebody called Claire, I can't remember her surname, has told me I've got to email her with all of our concerns within the area. We said we're really concerned that the area isn't being maintained as it is, let alone put another 86 homes in the middle of that field and create more antisocial issues. So I feel like I'm just, every step of the way, Gen 2 are just putting up a brick wall, and it's as if they don't want to confront us. And at the end of the day, none of us want this round here, and we just after some support, really.
Yeah. You've got our support.
Thanks, Stephanie.
My support.
Yeah, we'll do all we
Thank
can.
you, Susan.
Forget it. Yeah.
Just to Lindsay, I've got a letter from Gen 2 which I'll pass on to the town clerk, and he can put it out via scanning.
Yeah.
But they've put in writing that they will conduct a meeting with members of the public, and I think that's only right and proper. However, that's going to be arranged. And they've also said in the letter that they are doing some groundwork, but that doesn't mean to say that they're going to build. Now, I'm sure Lindsay and I probably have the same view. You know, you can't believe a word that everybody says on this issue, but again, I would stress that town councillors at Hetton that I've spoken to are fully behind yourselves and Mr. Hope. So,
unfortunately, I feel like Gen 2 talk the talk, but they don't follow anything through. They're giving us the answers we want, and they don't follow it through.
Nigel Wilson is the chief executive.
I have written tonight. I've wrote to Nigel Wilson twice.
Yes.
I have invited him to come out and do a walk around with me. He has declined.
Well,
I think Councillor Hopper wants to come back in as well, do you?
Yeah, there's what's concerning when you go through the documentation and when you have a look at the emails that have been sent by different people, because I've been asking people to copy me in and see whether there is any sort of thread that we can follow. And the one thing that Gen 2 keep responding with is the local authority have deemed that piece of land available to develop. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but if the local authority is the city council, then the local authority is also the city councillors. Now, I've just, Gen 2, through the process, are just moving to the next thing. As Lindsay said, all they want to do is, oh, we'll talk to you once we get over the next bit.
You've gone off, Councillor Hopper.
Sorry?
You've lost your voice.
Gone?
No, you're back. You're back.
Where did I get to?
I don't know, because you went off.
Councillors.
Sorry?
City councillors, you said.
So the local authority have given permission to develop on that land. Now, if the local authority can give permission, then they can take the permission away, even though we're told that the land is Gen 2. I mean, that's a different argument. It's a historical argument about the land and the housing social. So not one that we've got time for tonight. But if the local authority can give permission, they can take the permission away. And it's as simple as that. And Gen 2 are obeying what the local authority are laying down for them.
Anyone else? Anyone, any other member of the public wishes to speak before we move on?
Councillor Willis.
Yeah, I know that. But I'm just saying before we move on, any other members of the public wish to speak? No, right, go back to Councillor Watterson and then Councillor Willis.
Yeah, can I just say, has anybody checked the local plan? Have you looked at that? Because this land isn't down to be developed.
No.
Am I missing something here? Am I missing something here? Why do they go to the expense of doing a local plan and then we find that this land is going to be developed? What is the point of thousands of pounds being spent by Sunderland City Council to bring forward these fantastic plans, and then it all goes awry? And now we find out that it can be developed. I don't understand this. I'd like an explanation as to why. Why do they put out local plans and then just decide to give permission for somebody to go ahead? I know they haven't yet. I should rephrase that. They haven't yet given permission, but we all know.
Yes, they will do. Councillor Willis, did you want to speak? Did you say? Yeah.
Yes. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Right. I had a conversation. I had a phone call, and I was from a Gen 2 worker, and they asked my opinion about the Cragdale, and I said, you know, all the word is that they're not happy. They don't want it. And the reply was, if it doesn't get built there, it'll just get built somewhere else because the funding is for new houses.
That's fine. Put it in Sunderland.
And then there was a comment made about, you know, how the old golf place gets used and abused, and that there's not many people use that green area where they're going to build on. So what they're complaining about, and I said, so they don't want it. It's as simple as that. You need to go around and ask them. Oh, well, we've given them like some letters through the door. And I was, there was, you just get beat back every time. They have an answer every time. It's like, no, you need to go talk.
Oh.
Councillor Dodds, did you want to come in, or are we just putting? Yeah.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, the land that they're trying to develop on is actually in documentation, which is linked with the core development strategy.
Really?
It is down for, yep, it's down for development land without planning permission.
What page? I don't suppose you know what page that's on there.
I can't remember the page, but it is item 440.
440?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it is actually down for development?
Yeah, without planning permission.
Oh, God. So that wasn't what I saw on the plan.
Every day is a school day.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
So can I just come back then on that? Well, if that's the case, sorry, if that's the case, we really need to put up a concerted effort to stop this.
Yeah.
because I feel as if we're just going to be turned into one urban sprawl. And I've said this before, Sunderland have realised the error of their ways through there, and they're now just shoving all of the building around in the local coalfield areas, and our green and pleasant land around here is going to be filled with housing. We're just becoming one huge urban sprawl. So I reckon we need to put up a fight, not only for Cragdale Gardens, but for the whole of the coalfields area.
For future, Councillor Rome, and as a member of the public, I think, are you just applauding that, or no, not Lindsay, sorry.
Okay, me to speak, Madam Mayor?
Yes, sorry, Councillor Rome.
Just saying that even if it's in the plan as designated potential building land, that still doesn't say that we can't put up a robust objection to it on various issues, whether it's transport links, whether it's wildlife, whatever. And we'll do that, but we can't really do any, we can get up petitions and do things like that, but you can't object to it to the council because it's not a planning application yet. But I suggest when it does, we will have it. We'll have the meeting.
Have everything ready.
Okay. Right. Okay. Can we move on? Or does anybody, other members of the public, wish to speak?
No, I'm happy.
No, I think we've.
Madam Mayor, could I just?
Sorry, Councillor.
Could I just say, I just had a message for the clerk from a Sunderland City councillor who wishes to join the meeting. Whether you were prepared to allow him in. It's Councillor Jenkins. I've just got a message, so just to let you know, I had to carry on. Thank you for that, Madam Mayor.
Yes, I can. I'm just going to have to take a minute out though, if that's all right.
That's fine.
What do you want me to do?
Well, I'm happy for any city councillor to come to the meetings.
Yeah.
Fine with me.
It's not a problem, but I need to send the person a link to the meeting. Take me a minute.
Do you want me to send? Do you want me to send him my copy quickly, or
yeah.
is that not
yes,
allowed?
if that's expedient for you, yes, please.
Can we continue?
Yes,
yeah.
I would
Item
suggest,
4.
Madam Mayor. Yeah,
yeah.
carry on. Yeah.
Item 4.
So item 4. Item 4A is the minutes of the town council meeting held on the 15th of June. I'm going to bring these up on screen. You can just bear with me. I'll figure out how to do that again. I don't know. Hang on. No, that's not what I want at all.
Oh.
No. Oh no.
You broke it.
No, I haven't broken it. Bear with. Right, sorry, I'm just going to go off screen for a moment.
Ah, it's you.
I'm on the town clerk's screen.
Right, everybody, I'm back in business. There you've got the start of the draft minutes. All members will have had a copy previously. I'll just scroll through them very quickly. Bear in mind that I can only see 3 members when I've got the screen share facility up and running. Page 1 there. Two. 3, which includes the financial report. 4, and final page 5. Okay, so they are draft minutes from the June meeting. Yep. Members' views?
I'd like to propose that they're a true copy of what took place.
I'll second that.
Yeah. Right, going back to screen share. Right, thank you very much for that, Council. Item 4B is the minutes and recommendations of the Staff Employment and Training Committee held last Wednesday, the 15th of July. And I'm just going to bring these on screen again. Okay. There we go. Just a single page. Any views, please?
Say that they can be accepted.
I propose that they're accepted, Madam Mayor.
Yeah, I'll second that then.
I'm in favour.
Yeah.
Sorry, was that
Yeah, it's accepted.
around the screen? Can we just have a show of hands, please? Give me a flavour of it. Right. Councillor Dodds, is that an affirmative or do you wish to speak?
No,
okay, that's approved. Thank you very much, Council. Okay, we'll move on to item 5. This is an open discussion, the role of town councillors and city councillors.
Just that we only have about 10 minutes on this, as I know time's getting on now, if it's possible at all, please. Yeah, okay.
Best not read this
Councillor
out.
Hopper. Sorry?
I say I best not read this out because I timed it this afternoon. It took me 4 minutes to read it out.
Oh, well, there you go.
Look, the general. I got this item on the agenda because I'm worried from the residents' point of view that the city councillors are not. For the city councillor that's here, this is not personal, mind, at all. It's not personal. I feel that as a resident, we are not being represented by our city councillors. There's the reason for that, we're citing conflicts of interest. We're leaving meetings when we've got requests for discussion by residents about, for example, Cragdale Gardens. Now, it's the residents that voted for the city councillors. It's not Gen 2, it's not Sunderland Council, it's the residents. We should not be, city councillors should not be leaving meetings. And I do believe that a dual invitation should be going out as well to every Hetton Town Council, every city councillor to join the meeting and sit in and listen. Forget about Gen 2, forget about Sunderland Council. The people in this town need you, and they need you to stand up. They don't need you to wait for planning permission. They don't need to wait for the next stage. We all stand on the line together. That's what we do. We stand on the line together and we stick up for the residents because we are residents. So anyway, I'll post a statement on there. I've got loads of stuff on citing different examples, but if we've only got 10 minutes, then I'm not going to take up the discussion. So so it's not about any one councillor not doing the job. It's about closer working relationship. Nothing secretive. We're about transparency. We'll tell you what we're up to quite openly on here. We want to know what you're up to. We want monthly minutes of what you've been up to. Keep us informed. We haven't got a clue. As far as we know, you're up to some secret club doing whatever, because we don't know what's happening. Not allowed, although we have a representative on the Coalfields Committee, she wasn't allowed to speak. So
I'm only saying 10 minutes because I'm thinking, well, time-wise, that's all I'm saying.
it's too late. It's too late now.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Sorry, I finished.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Councillor Geddes?
Yeah, I fully support what Councillor Hopper said. And in the past, we have asked city councillors to comment on certain things, and each time the top of the city council. Well, from a non-Labour point of view, I would like to any comment to wish.
You're breaking up, mine, Councillor Geddes. You're breaking up.
At the end of the day, the city councillors are there to represent the interests of the residents of Hetton, regardless of what political persuasion they are.
Councillor Geddes, you're breaking up. I mean, can you?
Yeah, I'm a Excuse me?
Yes, Councillor Hopper?
Where's our only city councillor gone?
Well, she did say at the beginning she wanted to be excluded from item 5.
Well,
I know she did. I know. But I'm just saying,
I know, but
yes.
This is
I know this is the thing, yes.
You know what it is? This is what the city councils have done tonight. Absolutely ridiculous. Not turning up the
Councillor Hopper, yeah, that's fine. Come on. Yeah. Councillor Elvin?
Yeah, yes, Madam Mayor, I fully agree with Councillors Geddes and Hopper. And I refer back to the Hetton Town Council Charter, the local governance section, paragraph 3 and its various sub-paragraphs. And I'm sure Mike was going to include this, but I'll do some of it. The salient points are, the town council will invite representatives, members or officers of the city council or town council to town council meetings and give them the opportunity to speak on appropriate matters. The town council will provide the city council in advance of the meeting with a copy of the agenda and all reports. Therefore, I concur with Councillor Geddes that the city council should get 2 invitations. One, a summons to sit as a town councillor, and one as an invitation to speak as a city councillor. Town council's representatives will have the right to request to address the city council and its committees and vice versa. So, it's there in the town charter, which the city council proposed and was adopted, but basically it isn't working. And the town clerk and myself had a meeting some 6 months ago with an official from Sunderland City Council, pointing out some of what we consider to be discrepancies. And the person we met with was actually quite surprised that the relationship wasn't working in accordance with the town charter. And I cited the example of when I was chair of a parish council in another life. It was in a district, and we had district councillors. They weren't on the parish council, but they were invited, and they came to every meeting dutifully, and wherever they could, they would be open and answer questions about what they knew of a particular topic that concerned the parish. And if they didn't know anything about the subject, they said, well, we'll go back and we'll speak to the relevant departments and we'll get back to you. Now, the essence of the town charter is exactly that, but it's not happening. And tonight is an absolute classic example. Just walk away from it, and I wholeheartedly support Councillor Hopper and Councillor Geddes in the things they've said.
Geddes, yeah.
I believe, but I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but one of our city councillors that's put apologies in tonight, I believe that she's the vice chair of the planning.
Really?
Yes. Well, I'm sure that individual would have had a lot of information. Unfortunately, that person's for apologies. But can I just go on to something else? I noticed this last week that we had 3 councillors standing and bragging that they got a development stopped down Horton Road, which is opposite the fire station. The town councillors on here now had a meeting with the planning guy. It must be 2 years, well, it will be 2 years because the then clerk was with us. We arranged to have a letter sent. That was 2 years ago to stop it. Unfortunately, we haven't got any information now due to what's happened within the last 2 years. We've got no information now left on the computer. None. So when we went in, when this new clerk went in this year, he didn't have a licking of information on that computer. It was white, totally white. So
Can I come in to speak, please?
Putting up with.
Can I come in to speak, please?
Saying that?
It's Carol.
Oh, Councillor Sinnott. Sorry, Councillor Sinnott. I cannot see you, so I cannot see when you...
I know, I'm sorry. I've did
Sorry.
try that to get on the computer earlier, but I can't get you on there. So obviously I'm on the phone here listening in. Can you let me know when it's
Yeah,
it's
that's
okay for me
fine.
to come?
That's fine. You can go ahead.
Thank you. My understanding is that we're on point 5. I understand that some members want to discuss issues that are concerning them. However, we're on item 5, antisocial behaviour, crime and disorder. And I'm expecting to listen in on a verbal update from a town clerk and some discussions around that.
Sorry,
in our
Councillor
area.
Sinnott. Yeah, item 5 is the role of town councillors and city councillors. It's not about crime and antisocial behaviour.
Right, it just says antisocial behaviour, crime and disorder, verbal update from the town clerk.
No.
It's last
Not
month.
on this. So that last month's
That's what I have on the agenda here.
You should have, shouldn't.
Right, I've got the wrong agenda here.
Got the wrong agenda.
Oh,
Right.
goodness me, I've been ticking it off as I've been going along.
Sorry,
I've been
Councillor
ticking it off as I've been going along as well, because some of the items are the same. I do apologise for that.
Problem? Okay.
Sorry about that, everyone.
That's all right. Councillor Elvin, do you want to wish to come in?
Yeah, well,
all right, I'm looking at 2 agendas.
Don't worry.
Well, I'm keen enough, aren't I?
Yes, certainly are. Madam Mayor, a lot of the points covered in this are tabled for the management and the policy meeting, the next one that's being held. A review of this situation and the working relationship or lack of it with the city council. So can I propose that we then, when at some convenient point when everybody's finished speaking, we revert this back to the management and policy, and we see what they come up with and what proposals they come up with to try and improve the situation.
Fine.
I'll second that.
Hope that we accept that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Councillor Hopper, are you wishing to speak, or are you in agreement?
You don't mind.
Right,
I've
quickly,
got my
yeah.
heart rate back down now. Yeah, we seem to be in a bit of a stalemate with our city councillors on. Again, don't really want to go into party politics. There's nothing that hasn't been said already. The only thing that concerns me, and more so at the moment because of the fast pace that Gen 2 is going, the residents as a whole at Horton and the residents specifically at Moseley and Peacock, they've been lied to, and we've got the emails. There's people from Gen 2 telling blatant lies. We've got city councillors that will not help us. So they've got this sort of let's wait and see attitude. Let's wait and see for what? Let's wait and see. Let's get it stopped now. If we had the backing of 5 city councillors, the whole of the town council, and we know other city councillors that will support us in this, we'd have had this stop. We wouldn't even be having this conversation. But the less wait and see attitude and the due process, well, for what, I'm a new councillor, I've only been on 12 months, but I am sick to death of it already. And I'm ringing up trying to get to talk to the director of Gen 2. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see with these tests. Let's wait and see. The next stage. And every email that you get is one step closer to putting 86 houses on a park, our park. And they say, oh, no, that's not part of the park. That's a separate field. No, it's a park. And they've never maintained the park, and we've asked them about it. They had the park locked up, and we got that opened up again. They're just not doing. Gen 2. Have a wander around Peacar and Low Muzzy. You know, they're putting new roofs on. They couldn't even be bothered to match the tiles up. Do you know what I mean? It's like looking at Newcastle, it's like two different colours. So, yeah, we need to find a way to either get past the city councillors and get straight into the local authority, or we need a direct line straight to the CEO of Gen 2, and we need an open discussion, maybe invite him along. I don't think he'll accept, but maybe invite him along. Now, I believe everybody on here is doing it for free because they want a better place for the kids, the family, everybody can grow up with. The one Hetton to be city councillors, in my mind, haven't got the same philosophy. Thank you.
Can we move on now, please?
Madam Mayor, can I come in, please?
Councillor Heron, sorry. Sorry, yeah. Quickly, and then we'll move on.
Thank you. As I explained twice at the last meeting, planning is quasi-judicial. There is legal arrangements in place. Yes, you can do that, Councillor, but do you want to break the law? You do that.
It's not breaking the law.
Councillors are not allowed to do that. If they form an opinion on the plan, if they sit on the planning committee before the planning application is even put in, they have formed a pre-requisite opinion on that planning application. They're not allowed to do that.
Who voted for them?
That's why members leave the meeting, because they have an interest in it. There's nothing secret about it. Every planning application comes under, every council on the planning committee comes under that legislation.
Okay. Councillor Duffy and then Councillor Rome.
That opinion.
If I may,
Councillor Heron, have you finished?
Not even a planning application in yet. This
Right.
is a residence. The gent who's gone to the residents to ask their opinions on it.
And they gave it and they said they don't want it.
Come forward and said they don't want it. That's great. That's good for them. The other side of it, Councillor Hopper, the roofs are only being done on Gen 2 owned houses. They're not doing it on the private houses, people who bought the houses. They're only doing on them. That's why you've got the patchwork quilt.
You've got the patchwork quilt on their houses.
Yes, I've been listening to you all night. It isn't as everybody's standing together. And if you want to know something about Sunderland City Council, the 3 councils have ward surgeries. They have email addresses, they have telephone numbers. Everybody in Hetton can contact their councillors, including the 5 that sit on the City Council. And when they're on the Town Council, they're here representing the Town Council and their wards of the Town Council. Your ward is usually straight.
Thank you for the
I'm just saying,
Councillor Duffy.
yeah, all us councillors were all voted in by the residents.
Correct.
Yeah? We should be doing as the residents request. Whether it's a town councillor or a city councillor, it's what the residents request.
And that's what I do.
But it doesn't seem as if that is happening, because from day one, your town councillors said, put the hands up, your city councillors put your hand up, and you stand for the residents. You don't say, we'll wait and see whether they get actual planning permission. Let's nip it in the bud. Let's do it straight away. Stop it now. Put your hands up, stand up and be counted.
Councillor
I think
Rome.
we should move on now, Mayor, as well.
Councillor Rome wishes to speak. Councillor Green, then we can have to move on. Yeah.
I think the point is that if city councillors or any councillor is only supposed to excuse themselves from a discussion if they have a pecuniary interest in it, not if they just because they happen to live in the area or they just decided to be on the town council.
Madam Mayor, can you tell Councillor Hearn not to come in?
Can I speak?
Yeah, hang on. Right, Councillor Rome, yeah.
Councillors.
Councillor Heron, can you let Councillor Rome speak, please?
What I'm saying is that as far as I'm aware, everything I've ever read, a councillor is only supposed to declare an interest if they have a pecuniary interest, which means a financial interest. Say the land to be built on belongs to a cousin or a brother or an aunt or uncle. It seems the city councillors excuse themselves for any silly reason, and if they are that keen not to get involved, then they shouldn't stand for election as town councillors.
Councillor Green, did you want to come in and then we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just like to say, been on this council since I was 18-year-old. I can count on one hand how many times city councillors have actually helped in any discussion we've ever had. So it brings you back to your thinking, why the hell are they on this council representing people if they can't say anything about anything? Yeah. There's no point whatsoever in them being on this council. So they either want to be city councillors or they want to be town councillors.
Can we move on?
Hang on, Madam Mayor.
They literally bring nothing to this council. And if you follow up emails to them, yeah, beautiful. They're going to send an email back to you about some stupid response that the city council already have pre-made for them. However, this council is here to serve the people. If we're not going to serve the people and you're not going to speak about anything, why are you going to be on it? It's as simple as that.
Right. Yeah, we've got to move on time-wise, please. Otherwise, we're going to be here all night. I know we could talk about it all night, but yeah. Okay.
So,
yes,
Chairman, Councillor Dodds has had a hand-raised icon for some time now.
Right, sorry.
It was just trying to bring everything back on track, Clark, because it was going off on a tangent into Gen 2 and not into the town and city councillors.
Okay, can we move on now?
Yep.
I don't understand. I don't agree with that last statement.
No, whenever it gets difficult, the pull that one out the hat.
Right, yeah.
You've got members of the public who've come along tonight because they are concerned about a development, and we're now being told by a local town council, oh, let's move on, we don't want to talk about it. That's what we are here for. We're here to listen to the concerns of the people, not to just pretend we're doing stuff. We're here to listen to them. I'm sorry, Councillor Dodge, you can roll your eyes as much as you want. I'm afraid I'm here to serve the residents.
Point of order, please, Madam Mayor.
Yeah. Can we move on now, please? Yeah.
True thoughts.
Right.
Point of order.
Yeah. Town Clerk, we wish to move on. Item 6.
Okay, this is the usual slot for members to raise any local issues which you'd like following up.
Ragdale Gardens. Sorry.
Are you inviting Councillor Turner to come back in?
Well, is there any point?
Well, I know, but yeah.
Technically, I suppose you have to, don't we?
Yes, you have to. Yeah. Councillor Elvin, you wish to bring something up, members?
No, I'll wait till.
Sorry, is somebody else inviting Councillor Turner back in?
Oh. Something like a ringer.
Oh, well, Madam Mayor, I'll wait till the clerk comes back.
No, clerk's still here.
Okay, right. I'm going in 10 minutes. You all right?
Councillor Dodds, are you ringing Councillor Turner? No. No.
Right. I'll see if I can get her. Just bear with me.
Okay. That was a big sigh, Councillor Tobber.
No. It's just that
I know.
don't know, it's just frustrating, isn't it?
No, it is.
The wheel. I mean, I was told on day one off the town clerk, the wheels of local council meetings go.
Sometimes stop.
Madam Mayor, with your permission, could I suggest to the town clerk in future that if somebody just wishes not to, wishes to leave a meeting, he uses his override button, so that that person can't hear anything, unless they can lip read, of course.
Mute.
Madam Mayor, with your permission, can I continue?
Yes,
No?
fine.
Yeah, as you say, we're conscious of time.
Yeah.
I have three things to bring up. First one, I had a letter from a constituent in respect of Pemberton Bank and the unadopted road there. This comes up from time to time. Could I ask the clerk? I mean, I could ask the city councillors, but as has been said, there won't be any answer for some reason or other, so I won't bother, unless they would like to comment. Could the clerk please find out from the council if they have, the city council has a rolling programme to adopt unadopted roads? I have brought this up before on behalf of residents. You know, parts of Hetton are a third world, you know, they have all these unadopted roads, and really in the 21st century, it shouldn't be. We know they're expensive and we know it's going to take time, but at least if there was they made some sort of an effort and there was a rolling program. So on behalf of this particular client, I'll give you a copy of the client's, the name of the gentleman who wrote in, and then if you could do that on his behalf and the council's behalf, I think we'd all the residents of Hetton would be very appreciative. And the next thing is, again, I come back to Section 106 money, and in particular the development behind Lyons Avenue. If somebody correct me what it's called, Councillor Geddes. What's the development called?
It's Bertree.
Oh, and all that sort of thing.
And
Kingfisher.
Kingfisher and all that area. We all know what we mean.
Yeah.
The Section 106 stated that we'll have the first X number of houses should be built. The play park should be constructed. It's still not constructed, and again we keep getting can kicked down the road. And I'd just like to quote from the Hetton Town Charter, and the clerk can pick it up. The City Council will acknowledge letters sent by the other party, that is Town Council, and provide substantive answers to letters. This provides that acknowledgement be made within 5 working days, a substantial reply within 10 working days, or if the matter is complex, within 15 working days. If a substantial reply cannot be given, initial reply will indicate the reasons why and when the full reply can be expected. I get the impression that some of the City Council will read or transcribe days to mean years. Because as long as I've been on this council, I have been asking this question, and the clerk will no doubt fill you in on how many kick the can down the road letters we have received about why this hasn't been completed. So I can yes again ask the town clerk, if you'd like to quote 7.7 of the charter and of their liabilities under that, and why they have not and will not respond to us. And the third point, oh sorry, I've got 4 points. I do beg your pardon, Madam Mayor. Busy with people this month. I've had another letter from accounts from a client, a dear person who took the trouble to write, good old fashioned way, and put a first class stamp on it. But because we live in such a safe environment here, felt so concerned for his safety or her safety that asked not to have their name disclosed, which is, of course, a sad indictment on the civilized society we're supposed to live in. And it concerns a house on South Hetton Road, number 64. And I'll again give, I beg your pardon?
54, isn't it?
Yes, I said 64. I'll go off. Has a name which I can't find on the letter at the moment. I'll hand it to the clerk. And I went to look at it the other day, and it is an absolute disgrace. It just puts the whole area, it just makes it look unbelievable. And he refers to articles he's seen in the Echo about the council has this authority and that authority to do things about it. And he basically wants to know why it isn't being done. And yet again, this same question has been asked on numerous occasions by this council of our city council colleagues who of course can't answer us, and then the clerk has written to the city council for an answer, and again it gets kicked down the road. So yet again, could I ask the clerk on behalf of this citizen for an explanation as to why nothing can be done. Another point I'd like to bring up is, again, it comes up time and time again, the speeding on Lyons Avenue. I measured it the other day. It's a straight road which is exactly half a mile long and is being used as a drag race track. The other day, somebody came down there and crashed into another car, demolished a brick wall within a few yards of where children were playing in the street. It was about 7:30. Again, we've asked, if we could have a list of the rolling program of speed reduction measures that are taking place in the town, and if we are likely to have any in Lyons Avenue, could we ask the City Council that we are consulted as to the type and design of such speed restrictions, as is, according to the Charter, our right, a right of consultation and a right to be heard, and not just come and say, yes, we'll do it, and then just bung in whatever they want. So again, if you could write Town Clerk, I'm sorry to give you so much work, and I thank the committee and the members of the public for their time.
I believe you wanted to come in. Yep, Councillor Coulson. Yep.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, I'm very disappointed that the Crime Commissioner, Kim McGuinness, couldn't join us tonight. People in Hetton would love to see her. There's lots to talk about. But she has said she'll come when public meetings are allowed again. So that's good news. There's one final point. She'll have no problem finding Hetton Hall. She just needs to follow the police helicopter.
Madam Mayor, could I just interject and say, and use police parlance and say, the Police and Crime Commissioner for Northumberland has form. The same went for the previous one, and it went on for years and years, and she never did come.
Yeah.
Okay. Councillor Coulson, did you want to come back on that?
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
Leave it at that, okay.
The next point, I'll be quick as I can. I've got a call from a resident regarding a bicycle lane in your Durham Road. Now, I knew nothing about it, and I don't think the clerk knows anything about it. So that's a problem. You've got to use common sense here. If you write letters to residents about planning matters or road changes and things, if they might ring a city council, might ring a local councillor, but if the local council doesn't know nothing about it, it's going to look such a tit, isn't it? So could I suggest the clerk writes the departments involved and say, let the local council know first, and then I'll be able to answer questions from the members of the public that bring up. That's the point. Again, I think this is about maybe just getting on for the third year now of requesting the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit in North and South Street, Drayton, especially South Street, where the road is on a blind T-junction and is less than 12 feet wide. Okay. Another, on my last point is Summerhouse Gardens estate. There's a path leads down to the old Durham Road, and it's overgrown with weeds and bushes and moss and very dangerous. So if it belongs to the council or if it belongs to the resident, no, it's not a normal footpath, it's like a concrete one. So I'll ask the clerk to look into that. That's me finished. Thank you.
Councillor Geddes, I think wanted to come in then, Councillor Watterson. Or was he, do you just put, did you, yeah? Did you want to come in before, not? No? You had your light on, no, yes?
No.
No, okay.
No.
That's fine, okay. Councillor Watterson, did you want to come in?
Yes, please, Mayor. I'm going back to the traffic that Councillor Elvin brought up. I think it's a lot more widespread than you've mentioned. And there was a huge amount of people came on Facebook over the weekend complaining about the speed of traffic going up Horton Road. They mentioned Pete Carr, rat runs. It's an epidemic in Hetton at the moment, and I think it needs to be looked at as a whole and not just individual areas. I mentioned 2 council meetings ago that a gentleman stopped me on my way up to the country park up Richard Street to say there's some kids, that the kids are going to be killed one day up here because they come out of their front doors straight onto the road and they're flying up that street. So I think we need to be looking at this as a whole. The whole area needs to be looked at, not just the odd individual place. We've got to do something about this. Or are we still waiting to have a death registered before the City Council will come out and do something about it? I think we need a joint Sunderland City Council, and we need the police to come out, and we need some discussion about that, because people are really worried about what's going to happen and who's going to be killed around this area. And it is bad. I mean, I can hear it on the night time, the way they fly through Hetton, up Station Road and off the go to various areas. So I would like to see if we can get some sort of joint, you know, so the police and the City Council to come and have a look and give us some ideas of traffic calming measures that they can put in force. Okay.
Is your hand up now? Yeah, you wish to speak now, yeah?
Yeah, I was before him.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Hopper.
Might only take a minute, Michael. This was all brought up when we had the new housing estate put up at Easington Lane and the new housing estate put up at North Road. The roads here, the main roads, have never been altered for donkey's years. We all know that. That's one of the reasons that we started to object to more housing. If every house has got 2 or 3 cars and up Easington Lane on the tail of winter, it's about 400 to 500 houses. Do the math, it's 2,000 cars. Until these city highways realise that it's clogging the roads up, then, you know, they've got to address it. Councillor Heron and I had a discussion months ago, along with the other councillors, about the bypass. I know that. But I mean, at the end of the day, you can't just continually put cars on the road with the same old road layouts. They're not handling it. That's it.
I hope I'll better let you in now. Otherwise,
Yes,
you'll be bothered. Yes.
So, with the proposed development in Cragdale Gardens, there are 86 new houses, 172 new cars minimum.
What time's the day?
Mosley Road. We've got problems with traffic coming down here, high speed traffic. So that is going to cause more problems. The 2 proposed exits from the Cragdale Gardens proposed estate is one on the corner at the bottom of Mosley Road and the other one coming out where the shop is. Both are main skill routes, but they're also used as rat runs from Belmont, Pittenden, Sherburn, people coming down here to avoid the 690. So we need something doing about that. Now, I did have a traffic survey done, and I requested the Excel spreadsheet. And what they do, it tells you how fast each vehicle is going. I think it must have been faulty. Because like sort of they were saying it was like 30 mile an hour. I'm sitting here, like sort of, they are speeding down here. And it's very much like Gillis Lane on Moseley Road, you know, and they put the traffic camera down there, and it seems to work well. The other thing is Gen 2 had numerous complaints about the state of the estates. All the reasons I mentioned, the antisocial behaviour, the renovations that have gone on and the low quality of it, the very poor customer service. While we've been on air tonight, I've just gotten a message off a woman that's been trying to get three leaks fixed on a garage roof for 2 years with Gen 2. So I think we need to maybe get somebody in from the repair side of Gen 2 to talk to us and try and ease the residents' concerns, and that they are going to deal with that. I mean, the latest report was 1 in 12 Gen 2 houses are substandard. Do we really want 86 more? I don't think so. Yeah, I think I've stuck the boat into Gen 2 enough there.
Councillor Rome, did you want to speak? Yeah.
I'll be as quick as I can. I won't really address that. I've got there are 10 empty, unkempt, derelict properties just in Easington Lane, Gen 2 estate. If I could email I believe they're all Gen 2 properties. If I could email those addresses to the town clerk to find out if they are and what they're going to do about it. And there are a couple of other private properties. When I come on to my update for the COVID area committee, I'll link into that as well. I'd just like to add an addendum about Lyons Avenue. The articulated lorries go up this road and they go around and they get stuck. And I've got it on my iPad, a gigantic one 2 weeks ago. It got stuck and it had to reverse all the way down because it couldn't get round the corner. But I think maybe we should invite someone from Highways down to have maybe a separate meeting, not a town council meeting, but in a planning committee, because something's got to be done about the town, as Councillor Watson said.
Okay, any other members' reports? Members' ward to be?
Yeah, can I just say, I don't know if anybody noticed, we have had a return of the travellers up at the country park.
Really?
I think it's kept very quiet. There's only a couple of them, but they're back again.
Is that proper travellers?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's only proper travellers, but I think there was about 2 or 3 yesterday morning back again. And obviously, at the last meeting, I did bring up about the toilet facilities. Well, again, there's nothing there. I don't know if they're using the springboard, the facilities in there or whatever, but they are back again.
I think that the drive thing's going to be on in a few weeks, so you'll probably get a few more, and then they'll just head off up to South Hetton.
But you know, at the end of the day, is that what the country park's there for? To be used as a travel stop-off? You know, are we regularly to expect the travellers to come along and use the country park as a stop-off? Is that what we are? Is that what the country park is?
We'll tax them.
Springboard's only open out during the day, so they won't be able to use toilet facilities during the night after Springboard's closed.
Well,
which is my concern.
Facilities anyway.
No. No, I'm just saying, yeah. Okay.
I mean, I know at the moment we're still in the COVID-19 situation, and so therefore I know we can't move them off without court proceedings. But I think that, you know, they've been once and then they were moved on and they went to see them and they've come back again.
Is it the same ones or?
I'm not sure. I mean, my main concern again is public health. You know, there's a lot of people and a lot of children use the country park, and you know, we know what they're doing. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I am very concerned that one day one little child or a kid is going to become, you know, ill through standing in excrement or falling in it or whatever. You know, if there's no facility there, And we fought very hard a couple of years ago to stop a permanent travel site in Hetton, and now we have them just coming ad hoc. You know, what do we do? The gate should be locked, and there is a bar across into the field. I thought that gate would be locked so that they couldn't get in.
Used to be.
Doesn't get locked anymore.
Well, you know, that's all. I'm just reporting back. I'm just reporting back that they are back. It's funny that they never seem to bother Harrington Country Park, but Hetton Country Park seems to get them.
Yeah.
No, never mind.
Farrow, are you wishing to come in? Or are you just no?
Yes, I understand that the case of the travellers has already been reported by one of the city councillors to the city council, and that they probably have the matter in hand. And the only other thing I'd like to mention is that I, along with I think Councillor Rowham, had a request from a member of the public to look at the condition of the cemetery on Houghton Road. And in fact, again, Councillor Turner had already reported this to the relevant department of the council, and I believe it has now been attended to. Thank you, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, anybody else wish? Anyone else? No? Councillor Dodds, are you wishing to speak? Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to follow on from Councillor Waterston that there has been a lot of residents complaining about issues of speeding cars, and I understand that on several nights, not just this month, but between now and Christmas past, that they've been racing along Houghton Road and using it as a racetrack, and I've actually heard it myself on occasions. And I agree that I think we need City Council and the police to come up with a strategy for the speeding in and around Hetton, because they're using Caroline, Regent, Houghton Road as a circuit.
Yeah.
Councillor Willis.
I have had one, a couple of the people who live down here complain about the speeding cars and would like a few humps that goes in the road, because it's a bit like the Grand Prix down here at times. That's, you know, that's just what they complain about, because it's like a rabbit's warren with children in the street, and obviously they do come flying down in their cars, and it's just one day, you know, one of them is going to get, or a few of them, because there is lots of bands down here, and that's the main thing at the moment is, well, apart from the bikes and the quads, is the little boy races. So they're asking, can there be humps put in the road down and by your street? And it's just a bad of Dean Street, and it's just like by your street, going into the square. That's it.
I quite like them chicanes.
Councillor Elvin, yeah.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, may I suggest that the I'll propose that the town clerk invites the head of whichever department it is, and the portfolio holder, whatever other posh names these people have, who implements things such as traffic calming methods, to come and address a full meeting, or a full public meeting of the town council, so that not only we can hear what they have to say and what their proposals are, and if they have any plans, but also the public can witness this as well. And could I also ask the town clerk, in accordance with 3.1 paragraph 4 of the local government's agreement with the City Council, town council representatives will have the right to request to address the City Council or its committees on any matters of local concern. So could I ask him that he asks when this is going to be discussed, or when the appropriate meeting would be, and then maybe somebody from the city, we can nominate somebody from the council to exercise the right under the charter for them to hear what we have to say. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe the town clerk
Can I come in there,
want to come in. Sorry, Councillor Sinnott, sorry, but yeah.
Yes, I would like to come in. Thank you. Just to back up as well, I mean, I think there's quite a lot of the councillors there tonight have mentioned the speed and traffic. I think, as you all know, I've been complaining about speed and traffic on Horton Road for a very long time now. I agree with what everybody says, actually, but I think that what Councillor Waterson said was that to look at probably Hetton as a whole, so maybe to identify hotspots and see where the majority of the traffic harm measures are needed, but also some sort of enforcement needed as well.
Yeah.
Because Horton Road, to back up Councillor Dodds and what she's just said, going past Horton Road, it is very much, it's crazy. There was, you know, young lads in cars racing each other, overtaking each other on the road. And, you know, people live on Horton Road. The people who live on Horton Road have to come out of these junctions to get to work, to come home, you know. Kids are playing, people cross over to go over to the park. And I really do believe that it needs to be looked at. I've campaigned for a camera on Horton Road, as you all know, for a very long time. The situation is not getting any better. It's getting worse. So I just wanted to sort of say, I think that as a council, lots of us have concerns about speed and traffic in Hetton at the moment. And maybe we have to look at it as a whole area, like Councillor Waterson had said. So I think to move forward on that, I think that would be welcomed, because people are actually now in a position where they're getting quite worried about their children and themselves using junctions to get out to work or to come in from work, whatever. It's crazy. It really is. It's gone too far.
Believe the town clerk wishes to come in, or we
no, something was clarified for me earlier. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
You know.
Is there any other matters arising from members, or?
Have I mentioned Cragdale Gardens?
No. Councillor Green, did you wish to, or no? You just no. Okay. Okay. Can we move on then? Or yeah. Okay.
Right. This is
an
my
update from the
update.
town clerk.
Yeah, just a few things to bring people up to speed with. At the last meeting, there was a member of the public raised a query about progress with helping the post office out, and this is just a further update on that. I've continued to try and help the postmistress out with this, and she has been able to confirm for me that she did get one of the government COVID grants. I think it was about £10,000, she said, but that wasn't to be used on repairs. It was effectively a subsistence for loss of earnings and loss of trade. The other avenue I was following up was a scheme which the post office themselves had, but because Hetton Post Office is a main, unfortunately she didn't qualify, and there are no other schemes run by the post office which might be able to help her out. So I'm afraid it's a case of just keeping a lookout for anything else which might be suitable, but so far I'm afraid I've drawn a blank with funding schemes for the post office, but I've told her I'll continue to keep a lookout. The next thing to report, which has already been touched upon, and I'm reluctant to even mention the term Gen 2, but we did get a response to my formal letter that I sent to them after the last meeting, and that's already been referred to this evening. It was just to put that on the record. The other thing that I'd like to flag up is that only today I've had a response from the City Council about our request to establish and explore an area of special local character for Hetton District, and I put that on circulation to members earlier this afternoon. Basically, they confirmed that there wasn't one currently in existence, but they'll ask one of their officers to get in touch with me to have a further look at this. So, further report in due course. There's one thing I need to mention specifically, which I referred to earlier in the year, about the need for the Town Council's website to be redesigned to meet website accessibility guidelines, which come into force towards the end of September. And it's one of these things which needs fairly urgent attention. What I'd like to do is I'll send a note around to members, which has come out just last month, as it happens, from the National Association of Local Councils, about some of the requirements. It's just important that members have a feel for the scale of the task. Councillor Elvin's already alluded to the need to convene a meeting of the Management and Policy Committee, and I think any initial discussions need to take place at that forum pretty pronto, to be honest with you. But I'll put some information on circulation to all members. The final thing I'd like to flag up in my report is that the annual governance and accountability return deadline was extended until the 31st of August as a result of the coronavirus. That still has to be completed and brought to council. It's only full council who can actually sign that off. And I need to, as a matter of urgency, look at that paperwork and the financial information behind it. So it is likely that I will need, with the chairman's authority, to convene an extraordinary meeting of the council in August when we're normally in recess. So I'll keep members informed about that. I need to, as a priority, focus my attention on the annual governance and accountability return. Otherwise, we're going to come on big style with it. So whilst this meeting tonight has generated quite a number of letters for me to write to Sunderland City Council, which I'll attend to as soon as it's practicable, I really do need to concentrate on the annual return. So just to make members aware of that. As I say, I will be in touch about potential dates for that meeting. It may not be a Monday. It will depend on what progress is being made. And there are also a number of other issues swinging around at the moment which may require an extraordinary meeting to be held, because obviously third Monday in September is quite a way off. So what's this space for an extraordinary meeting, please? Yeah, that was item 7. Any queries at all? I've done it again.
Councillor Waterson's got a hand up.
Just to say, Councillor Willis's laptop's crashed, so
Right.
she's gone.
Right.
We do. Just make a note.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
She's left. Right. Okay.
The next item is the financial report, item 8. I'm going to bring this up on screen again. So I'm going to lose you all. Oh, something's not happening here. There we go. Bear with. There's your financial report. Just a couple of things to flag up here. The Zoom meetings are now no longer restricted to 40 minutes. That's why we haven't been cut off either last month or this month. The subscription arrangement is actually on an auto renew. So when we get back to normal, if I forget, will somebody please tell me to cancel it, because my credit card keeps getting drained by £40.39 every month until I formally cancel it. And again, for those of you who follow these financial reports very closely, you'll see that there's a £4.99 for a box file. And this is the third one I've had. I've had 2 from Wilkinson's, which have both collapsed on me. So I've gone up market. I've got a WH Smith's to get one. So hopefully it'll prove a little more resilient. So just in case you're wondering what I'm doing with the box files, I'm afraid the budget brand has let me down. So there's your financial report. I'll just scroll down so everyone can see that. Is that okay? Any views or queries on the financial report before I take it off screen? Coming off screen.
Anybody else? I'll let me see a couple. I don't think so.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Alvin, sorry.
Yeah, 2 things. First thing is, I've brought this up before, and I quote from a correspondence from the local government secretary. I want to know I'm behind you with all the support and vital work you're doing in your communities and have made, in the case of Sunderland, 18.2 million additional funding available to councils, including a larger share for lower tier councils. If you have any questions regarding funding, I encourage you to speak to your principal council. Well, it strikes me that, Ambassador Clark on 2 occasions said, well, we're the only lower tier council in the area, and therefore the local government secretary wished us and other lower tier councils to have some money to spend as we thought best in the local community to where we thought it would be best spent. And from what I can see, the town clerk has got some updates. We had, last I heard, been ignored, and when looking at the latest figures from the Sunderland City Council, it appears that they've spent it all, taken the credit for it, saying we've done this and we've done that, and again have conveniently bypassed Hetton. So before I go on to my second point, is there any likelihood of any money coming in?
I did have a phone call back end of last week. I didn't report this formally in my update because I wanted it in black and white. But there is a hint that we'll get some money from the City Council. And I will speak to the officer concerned, one of the corporate directors, because although he was encouraging in his verbal comments to me, I think it's important that we do get formal notification or otherwise that we're going to get something from the City Council. But I'll come back to you on that when I've got it. That's okay.
Mr. Town Clerk, any indication of the amount involved?
Potentially £1,000.
Out of 11 million.
18.2 million.
Or was it 18.2?
Oh, right.
And that's including a larger share. Dear me. Oh, there we go. Says it all. And the other thing is, sorry.
Have you missed 4 notes?
Could I also, looking at the accounts, which I consider to be correct in every way, and I think the openness and transparency under the current town clerk has been exemplary, more so it's been for many, many years. And I'm very disturbed to have circulated an allegation which verges on, well, I'll let the council make its own mind up, by a citizen by the name of Charlie Bell, and backed up by an Anne Lawson, who is the city councillor, an accusation that, according to him, with this gentleman's typical infant playground rhetoric, apparently Dickie Elvin is hiding in the fridge, and apparently we've mismanaged £5,000 worth of Hetton Town Council funds, and apparently we're hiding because we're frightened that he's going to bring it up at the Hetton Town Council meeting, which I notice is not present today. So I'd just like to ask the clerk, I mean, it's particularly disturbing because I don't think this is substantiated in any way, shape or form. Nothing has been raised with me, not that it's my position. It is I sit on the finance committee, but I don't chair it or anything. And the responsible financial officer is the town clerk, and I consider it to be a slur on his character. And I'm particularly concerned that a sitting councillor in Shiny Row endorses this comment. So I think it's quite unbelievable. I wonder if the town clerk has anything to add on this £5,000 that was supposed to have misappropriated.
No. Is a straightforward answer. The finances, to the best of my knowledge, are in good order. If there are any suggestions of financial mismanagement, there are routes that individuals, whether they be members or members of the public, can go down. And members will be aware that this afternoon I have sent them just a brief email outlining my position on this. If anyone can shed any light on the suggestions of financial mismanagement in the figure, it's my job to investigate properly and report back. But I'm unaware of what this might be about.
Therefore, I think it'd be, well, possibly I shall do it to. I think as a sitting city council, even though she didn't put the council in front of a name, we all know it is for somebody to a sitting city councillor to promote scurrilous social media correspondence is way out of line and not within the bounds of how they should operate. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So on the basis that I don't have £5,000 missing, we've had no official request, and you are getting the orders in to prove it. I'd like to propose that these financial statement is accepted.
I second that.
Okay, is that just looking around the room? Is that okay? Right, thank you.
Madam Mayor, can I come in on that point?
Where are you? Oh, yes. Sorry. You keep moving around, everybody, and it's...
Yeah.
Right, yeah, Councillor Geddes.
With regards to what Councillor Elvin has... Can you hear me?
Very, very faint you are, and you keep cutting out a bit. You're a bit like...
You need a new microphone.
That's him, yeah.
Can I just say, with regards to what Councillor Elvin just mentioned, I think, you know, we've got to look at this in a very serious manner, because not only is this a slur on the town clerk and Councillor Elvin, it's a slur on any signatories to the checkbook. So, you know, I think this needs to be addressed and addressed straight away. I'm really disgusted with that particular councillor having those comments, because quite frankly, if anybody says anything about that particular group, they're honest like a ton of bricks. And I also will say, with regards to the gentleman, myself personally and one of my colleagues on this forum had similar issues, and we had to get a solicitor's letter. So no surprise there. I don't know if
Discuss this maybe at a future meeting.
Sorry?
Either a fine. Can we discuss this maybe at a finance meeting or a future meeting?
Well, I don't know if
yeah,
Councillor
I know
Watson
we would
wants to come in.
discuss now, but yeah.
Councillor Watson?
Sorry, I missed the last. Sorry.
I went on about what Councillor Elvin had said and the slur from the City Council and the members of the public, and I said we've had similar, Megan, you personally.
Oh, that's very true. But what I feel at the moment with this is that it's now a bit of a slur on Hetton Town Council, and I think that it has to be cleared up that there is no discrepancy, because people who haven't read fully what's been sort of what we've been accused of, it needs to be clarified that there is no such discrepancy. That sort of post, it sticks and people see it. I personally, as a signatory for one of the bank accounts, would like to see this cleared up and some sort of a release, a press release or whatever being made, so that it's quite clear that there's total transparency and there's nothing wrong with the finances at Hetton Town Council. I think it's despicable that this comment's been made. May I say, personally, that I find our town clerk above reproach. He does everything he's asked to do. He is totally transparent, and to cast aspersions on that man is disgusting, really disgusting, and it's a low.
Yeah.
And sorry, it's for political gain, and that has to be said. Totally political gain.
Item 9.
Okay.
Application for community grant. Yeah.
Yeah, this is another screen share. Bear with me. Yeah, this grant award application has come in from Springboard Adventure, and all members have had a copy of this in advance. Just to confirm with members as well that I've seen the supporting documentation to confirm the validity of the application in line with the policy requirements. So what you've got here is 4 pages, an introductory or cover letter from Springboard Adventure. And I do apologize, just the way this has come in, but the next 3 pages are a little, they're not uniform. So there's the first page of the grant award application form with the requisite details. And this is a request for £500. Some more detailed information on the 3rd page, and just the final details in terms of addresses and contact information. What are members' wishes on this one? We do have adequate funding available should council wish to approve it. Okay, to take this off share.
Madam Mayor, I'm a bit concerned about this application from Springboard, because Springboard, really, they do a lot of work that Sunderland City Council used to do. Very similar to Hetton Home Care, who does a lot of work that Sunderland City Council used to do. And they're a charity, but they're carrying out the work that Sunderland City Council used to do, and they get most of their funding from Sunderland City Council. So although it's called a charity, it's a bit like farming stuff out to a private organisation, calling it a charity and giving it loads of money. I just find it a bit strange when they've had all this money from Sunderland City Council over the last few years. Mind the accounts only go up to 2018, and they're asking the Hetton taxpayer for more money. I just find it a bit strange. And also, I've asked the town clerk to try and find some information for me back in 2014, because in 2014, Springboard applied to build a new, the planning commission to put a new building in Hetton Lines Country Park. And they actually withdrew it, although there was loads of local opposition about it. One of the points that some people were objecting to, that Springboard had actually moved away from the Springboard that was a national organisation and gone into this new smaller organisation. And some concerns were expressed about their financial stability. And they do great work over there. They train all these, they do a lot of stuff that Sunderland City Council used to do in their own name. Now, I noticed from the last couple of years' accounts, which are available, they're now 2 years, sorry, they're not 2 years behind. They're 45 days overdue or 50 days overdue for their 2019 accounts. And I just suddenly find this, what was a small organisation over which there were concerns about their financial stability. I mean, they've got turnovers absolutely in millions. I just find it very strange that they've come to Hetton Town Council for £500.
Aaron, did you want to speak?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I would like to support this application from the fund. Springboard has been in Hetton since about 1990, and they've been operating from the park, as the thing says, from 2003, I believe it is. And they've done an absolutely great job with the young people that come in to get trained. They're now going to start and train people with disabilities. And it would be, I don't think it would be very well represented if we turned this application down. I would fully support this, Madam Mayor, and I would propose that they get the full £500.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you have? Thank you. Anyone else like to comment on it? Or do we take a vote on the? I believe Councillor Heron, but we haven't got a seconder for that, Councillor Heron.
I would second that for Councillor Heron.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Sinnott, with you being in the black.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm happy to second that. I would second that. That supported that application for Springboard. I think there's very little in the area for young people anyway, and especially for young people with disabilities, which is what they're trying to do at the moment. And I'm fully supportive of the application from Springboard based on what we have.
Sorry, Councillor Swartzman.
Yeah, I would just like to ask if Springboard are taking on these disabled, disabled people, Councillor Heron?
Yeah.
Yeah, will they not receive some funding from somewhere for that? Will there not be more funding coming in for this?
I've only got the same information as you, councillor.
Right, right. I would
Can I
think that
come
there
in?
would
Can I come in again? Can I come in again there, please?
Yes, Councillor Sinnott, sorry.
Thank you. Usually what you find is if there's going to be a piece of work that's going to be quite big, which might be going to be costly, that, you know, there might be a few funding streams looked at to develop that particular piece of work. And to be honest with you, you know, they're not talking a lot of money from us, really. And the likelihood is that they're probably going to be asking other people as well, I would imagine, if the work is successful and they're wanting to take it further. You know, this is probably a step in the right direction to try the work out to see how it goes with young people with disabilities. And if it goes really well, it could be something that they could expand on in the future.
Yes, it's just to clarify a point. The covering letter, which I had on screen before there, explains that this will be a training and development cafe with learners who have special educational needs.
Brilliant.
It will help them gain
That's
valuable
what we want
workplace
for our area, you know. I know when I was up at the country park.
The refurbishment or an extension to the building, or what? Is this a refurbishment to the inside of the cafe?
I think it's a kitchen
that they have now? No, Councillor Geddes?
Yeah, I think it's to upgrade the kitchen. According to the documentation, I think they need 10,000. I think they've got 8,000.
Sorry, Councillor Heron says he can't hear. You're very faint.
No, I can't.
Sorry, Councillor Geddes. Can you shout a bit?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, look at the documentation. It was to upgrade the kitchen facilities. I think they brought about 8,500. Now need 10 or something. If my, you know.
Watterson, do you want to come back in, or?
You know, I mean, I totally agree.
Farrow after you. Yeah.
It's a good thing, but I have concerns that there will be funding. I think there'll be a lot of funding for this. You know, I'm just wondering why £500. It's not a lot of money to ask for the town council. I just wonder, you know, how much funding is going to come in to do this with these disabilities.
Can I make a suggestion?
Hang on, Councillor Farrow, and then Councillor Coulson wants to speak.
And if I can make a point as well, please.
Yeah, Councillor Farrow first, and then Councillor Coulson.
I'd just like to support what Councillor Heron and Councillor Sinnott have said. I think this is a very worthwhile cause. Obviously, they are getting funding from other places because they're only asking us for a very small amount towards the total. Other funding streams must have been used because they're only requiring from us the maximum that we can give them, which is just £500, and I would strongly support this application. I think it's something that the council should be doing. We should be helping and supporting our residents, and especially any disabled residents. Thank you.
Councillor Coulson. Councillor Coulson.
Well, I think I'd like to defer this one to the next meeting so we can make further inquiries, because with the work for the home care, we found out they had thousands and thousands. So I would not like. I'm not denying it, but I would like to not to rush into this one and defer at the next meeting and see what other points they've got and make a decision then.
I'd like to second that.
Can I come back in, please? Can I come back in, please?
And then Councillor Geddes.
Yes. In terms of funding, can I just say that I would imagine that Springboard, as a whole, as an organisation, as Councillor Roma said, nationally, will have money, but their budgets will be locally spread, but the budgets will be locally spread. That's what I'm saying. They'll be locally spread, depending on areas, depending on the piece of work, depending on the young people, depending on lots of criteria. Charities the charitable sector has lost absolutely millions due to this pandemic. Millions and millions where charity money would have been raised for organisations has been stopped in its tracks. And, you know, not only Springboard, but you'll have heard lots of other charities as well, you know, their income streams have pretty much drying up. In terms of Springboard and this piece of work, you're talking £500. It's a step in the right direction. It's a step in the right direction for Springboard. It's a step in the right direction for young people with disabilities to learn skills, good life skills. And I just think that if it goes well, from my point of view as a youth and community worker in the past, if it works well, you will probably find that other organisations across the city, for example, I mean, I can't say that they would do it. It's in my head that other organisations who work with young people with disabilities will probably see what's happening about Springboard and say, you know what, I think we might get some of our young people to go up there and give them some money to do that with our young people who come to our project. I already know that some young people with disabilities go to Rainton Meadows, for example, to do a bit of tree, you know, sort of building fences or they trim some trees back and they help out those young people with disabilities from the North East Autism Society, for example. So there's no reason why that couldn't happen with Springboard if we give them the chance to do the type of work that they want to do by allowing this £500 to go through. I don't think it should be deferred to another meeting. Why are we deferring it to another meeting? Why? Why are we doing that? Why are we doing that? This voluntary sector organisation have waited and for this meeting to come round to get, and they've put their application together, they've got all their documentation together, so we can't argue that they haven't. So why are we now putting obstacles and hurdles in the way of a voluntary sector organisation in our area that needs our support?
It's called
I have a real problem with
Hang on one
that.
person at a time, please. Councillor Geddes and then Councillor Rome. Yeah.
Number one, I think I haven't got a problem with it, but to enlighten people to something. I worked for Southern College for many years, and they've got a massive LLDD unit there. I should be deferred. I know what you've got to go through with Southern College to actually teach these individuals. So I would like to know how many staff they've got trained in this area and exactly what they're going to do. Simple as that. That's common sense. That's not deferring because we don't want to give it. That's doing due diligence.
I'm sorry, but I disagree with that.
Councillor Rome's turn. Yeah.
How do you know they haven't got qualifications in working with young people?
Councillor Rome would like. No, hang on. One at a time. Councillor Geddes, then Councillor Rome. And then I believe Councillor.
Karen made a proposal. Somebody seconded it, and I made a counter proposal. Sorry, Councillor Coulson made a counter proposal of deferring it to next meeting, and I seconded it. Can we have a vote?
Can we have a vote on it? Yeah. All in favour of the first?
Can you just make it clear what it is we're voting on, please?
I was going to say if we can
To
have
give
a
them
vote on.
£500.
No, we're voting on deferring.
To defer it.
No, hang on. If we vote on first of all the deferment, because otherwise you're going to get, if you're going to get the £500, then there's no need for the second amendment.
Can I just make a comment before we make this vote? The Space Hive, which they're raising the £10,000 to, they only have 19 days left to raise it. So the next full town council's not till September. Just to put that in.
Therefore, the application would fall.
So, sorry, can I just ask, Councillor Dodds, do you know, is there any funding coming in because of these people that they're taking on, these learning disabilities? Is there no funding for this coming in? That's the only question I'm asking. I'm totally for anything like this. You know, to me it's wonderful, but I'm just, as Councillor Geddes has just said, it's due diligence. Is there any other funding coming in to Springboard for taking on these people when they're coming on and asking for £500? It's not saying I don't agree with it at all, I'm in full support of anything like this, but I just think you know, we need to know if they've got funding in place for this project. Is the funding coming?
Right, could you ask the town clerk?
Councillor Rome, want us to come back yet?
Yeah, Space Hive funding is basically, I think, I don't know if any of you can remember a few months ago when I reported back from the Coalfield Area Committee, when some funding was available. I think the money used to come through the EEC, it's the European Community or something. And when that stopped, the Coalfield Area Committee and Sunderland City Council introduced this Space Hive funding, whereby if an organisation raises so much money, then Space Hive will match it with money from Sunderland, and then Space Hive takes 5%. So something like that. I did try to describe it. I find it very difficult to understand, but that's what it does. But most of the money that Springboard gets, and I think it's off the top of my head, the figure their turnover something like 2 million in end of 1918.
Can we have one at a time, please? There's somebody's talking and I cannot. Thank you. Councillor Rome, do you want to continue? Sorry.
Yeah, it comes from Sunderland City Council. It's very much an organisation like Hetton Home Care, as I said, that get most of their funding from Sunderland City Council, and they're called a charity, and they do the work that Sunderland City Council used to do. So I support Councillor Colson's proposal to leave it till next. It's not going to hurt them for another month.
It will, because the deadline's gone.
Move the vote,
No, it
Madam.
won't hurt them for another month.
Can we have a vote,
All
please?
it's to stop them getting 500 quid.
Can I come in, please?
Can we have a vote on this? Can we have a vote? Yeah, vote. Have a vote, yeah, sorry. Can we vote? What we're voting on, first of all, are we voting on the amendment?
The amendment is voted on first.
The amendment to vote on. The amendment is that we defer this until the next meeting of the council. Those for this amendment, can you raise your hands, please?
I can't believe we're doing
We're all the
that.
councillors on.
Sorry, can you just
Hang on.
If they do that.
Sorry, I really can't hear a thing. There's so many people talking over one another.
Talking, I know there is.
I can't make head nor tail of what's being determined here.
Can I make a suggestion, please?
Hang on.
Could the clerk ask the councillors in turn?
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've made a list.
Yeah.
The clerk ask the councillors in turn.
Yes, he is, yeah.
Right, so
Okay.
this is an amendment to the original proposal. This is to defer this request to a
Somebody's
future
still
meeting.
talking.
This is to defer this request to a future meeting. Okay, so can you give me a for or against? Councillor Pearson?
What, for to defer it? Yes, for.
Councillor Tefty?
Defer.
That's for. Councillor Farrow?
Against.
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 Against the deferment.
Right, that's fine. Councillor Coulson?
Defer.
Councillor Geddes?
Defer.
Councillor Alvin? Sorry, I didn't get that from Councillor Alvin.
Against.
Right, thanks. Councillor Green?
Against.
Councillor Rowe?
For.
Sorry, just bear with me. Councillor Dodds?
Against.
Councillor Heron?
Against.
Councillor Waterston?
Against.
Councillor Hopper? Where's Councillor Hopper gone?
Sorry, defer.
Councillor Sinnott?
Against.
Councillor Turner still with us?
Against.
Sorry, can I just come back? Councillor Elvin, you were against, weren't you?
The deferment.
Four. Sorry. Okay, that was 6 for the deferment and 8 against.
Carried.
Okay. So do you want to go to the main proposal?
Main one, yeah.
So I'll go through it again. So this is the proposal that the £500 grant is made to Springboard Adventure. So I'd come around each member individually again. Councillor Pearson, for or against?
Against.
Councillor Defty?
Against.
Councillor Farrow?
For.
Councillor Coulson?
Against.
Councillor Geddes? Where have you gone? Sorry, Councillor Geddes, I've lost you.
Information again.
Sorry, I can't hear you at all, sorry. Can anybody hear what Councillor Geddes is saying?
Against.
Right,
Thank
thank you. Councillor Alvin?
Against.
Councillor Green?
For.
So that was a 4.
Correct.
Councillor Rome?
Against.
Councillor Dodds?
For.
Councillor Herron?
For.
Councillor Waterston?
For.
Councillor Hopper?
Against.
Councillor Sinnott?
For.
Councillor Turner?
For.
Give me a moment.
7-7.
Yeah, 7-7. Chairman's casting vote.
Yes.
Against.
That's lost.
Disgraceful.
We both lost. We both have lost.
Yeah.
Disgraceful.
I'm just trying to figure this one out. Bear with me.
I always thought you only voted on the one, whichever one got carried.
So we're in a little bit of a bizarre situation here because the amendment
The amendment failed.
shows the proposal. It's against the casting vote. So there's no award to Springboard Adventure. Okay.
We're not even deferring it, Graham, are we not?
That was
That
lost.
went the other way.
Once you voted against it.
Turned it down.
Turn them down.
Say again, Councillor Harris?
You voted for the deferral.
Okay, the decision has been made by council. Okay, are we okay to move on to the next item?
Yep.
Item 10. It is the report, verbal report from Councillor Rome on Coalfields Area Committee.
Excuse me, Town Clerk.
Yeah.
Can I just go back to that last item?
Chairman?
Just very, very quickly, I don't want to open up a conversation. I don't think there's anybody on here not wanting them to get the money. I think what it is, they want more information.
Exactly.
Two things.
Yeah, but the deferred
All right,
didn't
then.
go.
You apply again next month.
Okay.
Move on.
Too late next month.
Yeah.
Can I come in here as well, please? On
No,
this?
can we move can we move on? Otherwise, we're going to be here all night. It's 9:30 now.
Move on.
Right, we've moved on. We've took the decision, etc. Right.
I'll be as quick as I can with this COVID area committee. It was last Wednesday. We all know where we can get onto the agenda in the minutes. I was very, very disappointed at this COVID area committee, because basically what they've done, they've changed the format of it. There seems to be that there was a total lack of opportunity to ask any questions, and I've actually asked Pauline Hopper if there's going to be a permanent feature of the Coalfield Area Committee now that the neighbourhood community boards have been introduced. Northumbria Police update, the figures on this chart didn't add up, but the Northumbria Police rep was there. There was no Gen 2, there's nobody from Gen 2 there, and I had wanted to speak about Cragdale Gardens, as I was denied the opportunity to speak with the previous speakers. And there was no mention of the proposed development on the actual report, even though it's a very local topic. I know representatives have spoken to Councillor Blackburn about how to get the Cragdale Gardens issue on the Coalfield Area Committee agenda, and the only way you can get it on is by asking the City Council.
Yeah, you're echoing.
Is there an echo somewhere?
Yeah, there's an echo.
Sorry, we can't hear anything. It's inaudible, I'm afraid.
It's what?
Go closer to
Go on mute.
Everybody spoke up.
Come a bit closer
Well,
to your
anyhow,
mic.
am I audible or not?
No, not now. Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, now we can.
Yeah, right, good. Well, anyhow, be as quick as I can. There was no opportunity to ask questions, so I've written some out to Pauline Hopper. One about, as I say, about the fact that Cragdale Gardens was brought up. Now, I noticed in the report there were 1,100 laptops.
In that you're going very, we can't really understand you, Councillor Rome.
Closer to the microphone.
Somebody's got their microphone on still.
Go closer to your mic.
I can hear an echo. Is that better?
That's a little bit.
Right. I wanted to ask a question, which I'm hoping to get a written answer to. There are 1,100 laptops given to Sunderland City Council by central government. And I wanted to know if they have been used to assist in some of the priorities listed in the COVID work plan, and if so, how many? There was an issue about empty property. I'm getting a terrible echo back.
I was going to say, we can't hear you.
Somebody's got their mics on, and maybe if you all switch your mics off and just let me speak, that might help.
It's coming from yourself, I think. Right, everybody switch the mics off and then listen just for Councillor Rome.
And if it's no better, I'll just have to give up. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Is that better? Good. Right. There were 1,100 laptops given to Sunderland City Council by central government, and there were lots of items on the Coalfield work plan about providing IT and laptops to people, for various projects. And I've asked Pauline if, how many, if any of those 1,100 were given out and where to. There was an item on empty properties, and where we are on this, and this relates back to what I said earlier. There was one resident locally has claimed that Sunderland City Council has taken a Hendon private owner to court about his boarded up property, and he wants to know why can't they do that for Hetton and the Coalfields area. And then a very, very important one, I think, was digital technology and 5G were on the agenda. I couldn't ask a question about it. What I wanted to know was what has Sunderland City Council done, or will they be doing, to allay the fears of those who are concerned about 5G radiation? Because 5G is being rolled out across, the whole of Sunderland. Some people are concerned that it can have a damaging effect on humans. And I understand that several 5G masts in the northeast have been vandalised because of this. And I wanted to know what Sunderland City Council has done its own risk assessment, or is it relying on others? And if so, whose? I'm really concerned about this lack of opportunity to ask questions if it's going to be a permanent feature of the Coalfields Area Committee, because that feeds back into what we've been talking about throughout this council meeting, in that we don't have a voice. The Coalfields Area Committee is supposed to be the link between Hetton Town Council and Sunderland City Council, and it's my opinion that by creating these neighbourhood community boards, we're not going to get a chance to ask anything at all. And another was, there were no plan. Normally at the end of the Coalfields Area Committee report, there's a big list of ongoing planning applications and where we're at with them. They're not for discussion, but it's really good to have them there, because you can see what's going on, say in Houghton or Copt Hill or somewhere nearer, which gives us an idea in Hetton of what's happening, because a lot of things often relate to what's going on a little bit further downstream. And I mean downstream, we're talking about, we've got a lot of waterways and burns in the area. So that's a bit of a concern as well. So I'm very disappointed with the Coalfield Area Committee meeting last week, very. Thank you.
Sorry, Councillor Sinnott's just rejoined us again. Okay, item 11 is the new draft National Code of Conduct consultation. Members have had this document previously, and I made the point in my current email that members can respond on an individual basis. I've included it on the agenda this evening, should the council wish to submit a representation on behalf of the corporate body. Any views at all?
Farrow? Councillor Farrow? Where have you gone? Yeah.
I'm here.
Sorry.
Sorry, trying to get the picture back. Right. Just one point I wanted to make, and that was when I went to the training session last Thursday, it was drummed into us that we are councillors all of the time, not just when we have councillor in front of our name or we're at an official function, and therefore our conduct should be exemplary all of the time. Now, when you read this code of conduct, there's a sort of grey area. It's not at all clear in one section, and I would like that to be clarified, please, and preferably made that the code of conduct should apply all of the time. You can't have this sort of rather vague definition of when you're a councillor and when you're not a councillor. That's the only comment I wish to make.
Are there any other views at all? Is that something which council would like me to submit?
I would like to support that. Yes, I think it's a very good idea, but there's very little point. Well, there is a point to us doing it, but of course, on the City Council, will no doubt not include it in theirs.
Senate, you lit up. Do you want to speak or? Can't hear you. Sorry. Sorry.
Just can't hear you, Councillor.
Councillor Geddes? Yeah.
Can't hear you.
No, we can't hear you, Ross. Sorry. Okay. No, sorry, Councillor Sinnott, we can't hear you.
No, it's not Councillor Sinnott who's talking.
Sorry?
It wasn't me trying to speak there.
Oh, well, you were lit up, that's all.
Madam
sorry.
Mayor, that wasn't me trying to speak. I don't know who that was trying to
speak. You were lit up, sorry.
No, I'm not lit up because I'm on the telephone.
Yeah, but you were lit up in the square that to speak somebody. That's
all right,
yeah.
sorry. No, I wasn't speaking. No.
Okay.
It's all right. I wasn't speaking.
Is that it?
Technology is a wonderful thing.
Okay.
Just so I'm clear, that's the one comment I'm submitting on behalf of the
yeah.
Town Council. Right,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay, the next item 12 are the planning applications. Again, I'll pull those up on screen. All right. Members have all had these in advance. Your first one there, 23 Lions Gardens, change of use. Any comments at all?
Yes, I have comments. Councillor Rowan.
Yeah, sorry, Councillor Rome. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I would like to propose that we oppose this on the same grounds we oppose that recent application for a dog grooming parlour. It's a small residential estate, very pretty little estate, lots of parking issues there, and this would lead to the attraction of more vehicles to and from the site, and there's no really adequate off-street parking facilities, and it would lead to the creation of conditions prejudicial to road safety and as such contrary to policies T14, T22 of the UDP. Town Clerk, I can give you this information in writing tomorrow if you need it. And the proposed use is considered to be of a commercial nature, and that is inappropriate use within a residential area, as likely to have a detrimental effect on the amenities of nearby residents by reason of noise and disturbance. And there have been two very, very extensive objections by both next door neighbours to this. So I like to propose that we oppose this application.
Any other views? Is that shared by council as a whole?
What grounds are you stating, Councillor Rome?
Sorry?
What grounds are you turning it down on?
Point of order, Madam. Point of order, Madam Mayor. Councillor Rome has already explained that in great detail. She's already given the main reason.
I missed that.
To be changed.
Change of use to hairdresser salon.
Change of use, yeah.
Because of extra cars or
From a
because of
residential
neighbours'
to a.
complaints?
It's a private house.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. That'll do.
Madam Mayor, I second that proposal.
I second it.
Oh, you seconded, Mr. Councillor Zeffie. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
So
do you want to take a vote? Do you want to take a vote on it, Madam Mayor, or not?
Yeah, no, don't we? I think everybody's.
Nobody opposed it.
Agree. Nobody's opposed it that it's done. So yeah.
Yeah, great. Right, thank you. Right, the next one is coming up. Yeah, Raton House, Middle Raton, single story extension to northwest elevation.
Objections?
I have no objections.
No objections.
No objection.
This is there's only one house at Middle Raton, and it's a farmhouse well off the main road, so there's no problem there.
Okay, thank you. The next one. Oops. Okay. This is the Grove at Raton Bridge. I did have a query from a member, which I passed on to the City Council, but I haven't had any feedback yet, I'm afraid.
There's only two for you.
Any views?
Are you going to tell us what the query was, Miss Town Clerk?
Sorry, I missed that.
Are you going to share what the query was, rather?
It wasn't an objection, it was a query, if I remember rightly, about what one of the trees was going to be replaced.
What, sorry?
I don't know who spoke there.
Yeah, me. One of the trees were what? Did you say, sorry?
It was a query about what one of the trees was going to be replaced with, if I remember correctly. I think the member who raised the query may be there still this evening if they want to clarify.
I have no objection to it.
I have no objection.
No objections.
No objection.
Is that unanimous?
Yeah,
Can't see everyone.
Yeah, it was me who made the query, Madam Mayor, and it was just what the replacement tree was going to be.
Need a steer on this one. If your query isn't material.
No, I mean, I don't object. I was just querying as to what it was going to be.
Okay, thank you. Right, your next one, 22 Holodine.
Yes, Madam Mayor, if I may say something on this. I'm confused because I couldn't see any application form on the website.
Is that one not already gone?
Can I just ask Councillor Rome, was that because of one of the technical problems, or just that there was nothing there at all? Or?
Well, no, it wasn't. There's just no application form on there. And I was a bit concerned that it's supposed to be part retrospective, but I couldn't really make any sense of it. So unless anybody else knows anything about it that I don't, I think that maybe we could try and find out if there's an application form with some explanation on it.
More information on that one.
Sorry, I've lost the sound.
Did you hear what I said?
No, didn't get it.
There's an echo coming back again. People have got their mics on who are not speaking.
No, still not picking anything up, I'm afraid.
I think when I looked at this one, there were only 3 documents. And as Councillor Owen said, it appeared that there wasn't an actual application. There were plans, but not an actual application. I may be mistaken, but I think that it was this one where it seemed that the documents, something was missing from the documents on the website. So maybe that could just be checked out. I could have a look myself and just see if that was the case, but I'll have to do that tomorrow.
Right, so if we establish that there is something missing, is it leave it in abeyance or seek an extension?
Well, I don't have any problems with the with it. It's just a possible missing form. That's all. It might only be a small administrative error. I don't have any problem with their desire to build the extension.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No objections from me. No objections.
I think we should just say no objection.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Agreed.
No objection.
Right, thank you for that, Council. The final planning application coming up now. Somewhere. Windy Ridge, Houghton Road.
I have no objection to that.
No objection.
No objection.
No.
No objection from me.
Okay, thank you for that. Right, I've got you all back again now. The next item was correspondence. If I can just take you through that. Sorry, I'm going to have to go back to my screen. I can't find my hard copy. Bear with me. Yeah, so I've just put this out this afternoon. Just so it's bang up to date. Unfortunately, our web supplier hasn't been able to post that this afternoon. So I do apologise. Bear with me. But I'm just talking through it. Yeah, just mostly correspondence by information. Following the last town council meeting, I had some correspondence from an elected member about some concerns around general data protection regulations, which I responded to on the 25th of June. I haven't heard anything further on that one. And similarly, there was a correspondence came in from a member of the public around the same issue, which I replied to on the 29th of June. If members didn't have any comments, I would suggest they are just both noted. Okay with that?
Yep.
Champion. The next one, it was a general query on code of conduct complaints process, and I referred that inquiry to Sunderland City Council. Sorry, I didn't refer it myself. I signposted the inquiry at the Sunderland City Council. Suggest that's just for noting as well. The next one is the County Durham Association of Local Councils. That was notification of a range of free training courses, which I know some members have taken part in. The feedback has been very positive on that from those members who participated. I think there's one more session to run. Again, just for noting. Okay with that? The next item, this is out of the blue from what's known as the Government Digital Service, and I've had to re-register our domain, which is the gov.uk excuse me, domain, and I've also had to tighten up on the security just by providing them with some additional information, and I was helped with that by our IT supplier. I think that's actually sorted now. So again, just for information, it's one of these things come out of the blue, not seen it before, but it's now dealt with. And finally, on correspondence, it was just the circulation of the Council for the Protection of Rural England's summer newsletter, and just for information. Okay. Item 14, date and time of next meeting. The routine cycle of meetings would mean the next meeting is on Monday, the 21st of September. And again, at this stage, I have a strong suspicion that that will be a virtual meeting unless there's a significant change in the position. But as I mentioned earlier in my update, I think it's going to be necessary to have an extraordinary meeting held in August. And I'll liaise with the chairman on that one. Councillor Pearson, item 15.
I mean, item 15 was supposed to be confidential. I mean, just I've been told that the council wishes to exclude the press and public from item 15. So, Councillor Elvin.
Can't hear you.
You've got on mute. You've got it on mute. Yeah. Don't know why I'm pointing, but
do apologise. I'd like to propose that this meeting is held in the public arena. There's no reason under law. I've taken advice on this. It is in the public interest, and there's no reason why it shouldn't be discussed in open chamber in view of the public and the press. So I propose that we
I'll second that.
Paulson? Yeah. Councillor Cole, yeah. Okay. Been seconded. Any objections? No. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's then. So that can go ahead. Yeah.
Yep.
Fine. This is, as the item states, request for an analysis of the IT system and the engagement with a specialist contractor and seeking of quotations.
Councillor Elvin. Councillor Elvin.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to propose that the council authorises the town clerk to obtain quotations from a specialist contractor to retrieve the data from the town council computer, which was erased prior to his appointment.
I'll second that.
Agreed.
Seconded.
Agreed.
Okay. Any other?
Anything?
Right. I think that's carried.
Agreed.
Okay, that concludes business for this evening.
That concludes it. I'd like to thank everybody for attending this evening. It's now 5 to 10. So
Summer holidays.
you can have cups of cocoa and get yourselves to bed. And thank you to the public for attending. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Sleep well.
What was it earlier?
Right, the recording is stopped now.